major decision. And now, I'll tell you, these horses here for Iowa, the horses are really going to have to get to work. They know they can't just be safe and get three-point decisions. They got to go out and try to pin somebody.
Well, they've got a lot of plowing to do right now. I'll tell you, that one team-point deduction when they lost it, and that major decision against them, even with the loss, those are going to be two critical points in this meet.
VanArsdale on the left for Iowa State against a national champion. Marty Kistler ranked #1 for Iowa. VanArsdale's ranked 5th. He's had a great year, but Kistler, of course, was the 158-pound national titleist last year. He's lost one time this year, and that was to a wrestler non-eligible college wrestler, Kevin Jackson, who is at Iowa State, but who was not eligible this year.
Well, VanArsdale has a great deal of talent, and he's a real dangerous wrestler from two spots. One is from his feet when he gets in and he can throw. The other is when he's in that down position and he gets that standing switch working. But Kistler is just very well-rounded, real solid, doesn't give anything up.
And is intense.
And is intense and can go the route, we say in wrestling.
In many ways, to me, he personifies the Iowa wrestler program. He goes at you. But VanArsdale's been tough this year.
VanArsdale will wrestle with Kistler. This can be a very good match. He is no slouch, believe me.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things we need to look forward to here sometime, what's going to happen up to 190 pounds. There's a little strategy. Each team has multiple wrestlers available, and I know it depends on what the score is as to who will go. You saw Tate there. He deserves to get a little congratulation and a little attention because he beat.
That's right. Well, when we get to Goldman from Iowa and Volker from Iowa State, it'll be interesting to see if they're going to make those decisions. Iowa State has to put their man out first. They can put out Metzger, or they can put out Volker, and that will make a determination what Iowa decides to do.
Kistler's in on the leg, but VanArsdale manages to fight him off. Snap down try by Kistler. Kistler is doing the forcing here. There is Volker, Eric Volker on the right. We haven't seen him since the last Iowa meet when he broke a bone. He had a stress fracture in his match, and he's lost to Goldman. And I know they'd prefer not to use him. They'd like to maybe save him until the Big 8s next week. But, you know.
Yeah, well, what we could do is we could see Iowa State putting out Metzger, deciding not to wrestle Volker, and then Iowa weighed in Raleigh Kane from Wapsie Valley, and they could put him out there thinking he could beat
both men stalling.
Metzger.
You're just
and then
reaching, there's no depth.
Dwayne Goldman up to heavyweight to wrestle Heropoulos.
That's Steve Metzger. And Goldman last year used to beat Heropoulos at 190. So
they think he can do it again. That weight may be a difference. This is going to be real fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. We got some good ones yet. Gassman and Chipperelli coming up next at 177. Iowa, the best. You want to see the best do what it has to do. And it's 16-5 Iowa State right now. So the Hawks know what they have to do. They just have to win big from here on.
Well, I'll tell you, right now we're seeing a heck of a match by VanArsdale. He's keeping a real neutral position on. And when we watch this match go, and so far Kistler hasn't been able to do penetration 1. And that means that VanArsdale's done a good job of keeping him off of it. Even though they've both been warned for stalling, he's just done a good job of keeping him out of it, neutralizing it.
That's John Heropoulos back in the tunnel. Dan Gable on the right. Mark Johnson, assistant coach on the left.
We're looking at the potential to see that 36-match streak snapped right here.
Well, I think, as I said, some people really began to think maybe it can happen if as soon as Tate came out on top of Alger and by a big score, a 4-point win. This time, VanArsdale took bottom.
Still down.
Kistler has to be able to neutralize VanArsdale's stand-up. If he can take that away, he's got some potential to be tough on him. But VanArsdale gets to his feet. He has a great standing switch. And
your bottom man, you're set. Top man on.
Marty Kistler, 2-time Big Ten champion. Last year, national title holder at 158. He was runner-up the year before.
And see what he's doing is he's riding on it. He's riding on that strike that takes that away.
Escape for VanArsdale. It's now 1-0. But of course, VanArsdale is going to have to get some offense going too. Both men have been warned.
Well, he has some. You know, it's just that he hasn't used it. There's a little fake drag into the single. Now he's going to try to step past the foot. he can get past the foot, then he can start to follow the leg on out. The whizzer is keeping him down under.
And we're very early in the period. A lot of time for Kistler to try to bring this hold home.
He's okay.
All he's got to do is try to find the foot on the other side. If he isn't going to get to his feet, he's got to try to come to the other side. Now, VanArsdale is going to try to switch him off of this.
No.
Out of bounds. No score. That's Goldman, Dwayne Goldman. A lot is going to rest on this man's shoulders, Dwayne Goldman.
That's
wherever
right.
he wrestles.
That's right.
If you missed a little of this match, this meet so far, Harry Summit pinned Matt Egelin. That was really the tempo start. That got the ball going for Iowa State. 4:24 in the match. He pinned Egelin. Kelly beat Penrith 5-2. Now you see.
He did a nice little duck under there.
Kistler in the duck under.
Nothing yet.
Nothing. At 134, Randall beat Jeff Gibbons 8-4. Then Dresser probably took over the #1 rating by beating Joe Gibbons in a heck of a match 4-3. But Krieger upset, well, I don't know if you'd call it an upset, but he beat Heffernan at 150 for Iowa State 6-4. And then Bill Tate got a major decision over Royce Alger in a surprising turn of events for a lot of people. And the Hawks also lost a team point when Dresser, after his victory, just forgot what he was doing and threw his headgear, and that's a loss of a team point for unsportsmanlike conduct. It's Iowa State 16, Iowa 5.
Well, they're winning this match right now. They're ahead 1-0. Although Kistler's done most of the offensive effort, it's, he just got penalized.
Now there's the point we're even.
That's the one I was looking for. How long is that going to take for that to happen?
Well, it took to the end, the very end of the second period.
I was doing all the shooting.
So now it's 1-1. That's the 1981 season. Iowa State beat Iowa that year in the match at Iowa State. And Jim Gibbons, the coach, won the title at 134 pounds. That was his only national championship.
Here's Choice.
Choice goes to Dresser. Dresser wants to go down. He wants to score from the bottom. Kistler, I should say. I'm back at 42 again.
1-1.
A lot of exciting matches to wallow back into the to the memory and just stay there and enjoy them a little bit.
15 seconds riding time. Iowa's got 15 seconds riding time.
All right, Kistler on the bottom. That's Mike VanArsdale.
VanArsdale's tough on top. He's got a lot of length, and he can be very good here. He likes to leg, and if he gets his mind set right, he can be great. Kistler's got to keep him off of there. So far, we've seen the Hawks have some trouble on the bottom, and it's cost them some matches.
I'm going to warn you this time. Next time, I'm going to penalize you. Twisting knee lock. Don't do that.
Phil Hennig didn't like the way the knee was going at all.
Well, what you can't do is put one knee in front, step over the leg with the other one, and then pull it to the side in order to try to attempt to pull the man's hips down. It's a twisting knee lock, and it's illegal. He said, I'm going to warn you this time. Next time, I'll penalize you.
VanArsdale on top, riding. Time has switched over into his column now. Doesn't appear there's going to be a point here, but it's 1-1.
Well, it might be. He's got to keep him down. He's got to keep Kistler on the mat, and he's good enough to do that. Just got to pressure him some. Now, if he keeps letting him get up here, eventually he'll lose it. So there's the leg he wants.
Marty Kistler of Iowa with a 1-1 score. Started on the bottom in this third period and wants to come out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Stalemate. Iowa State fans thought that Phil called a little bit too quick there.
Stalemate in the legs.
But he'd seen enough of the position. Marty Kistler.
Well, he's worried about riding time. He better worry about getting out of here. He's going to lose the match.
1-1 is the score. An escape for VanArsdale, a penalty point against VanArsdale in the second period. VanArsdale is tough on top. Now, Kistler is out. And it's 2-1, Kistler.
Now, we haven't seen VanArsdale have an offense yet, but he's still in this match mentally, which means that he might generate an offense and score. And he doesn't act beaten. He isn't showing it on his face. He's not showing it in his style.
40 seconds to go.
He's still in there aggressively. If he'll go ahead and hit one of those shots, he might score on it.
And Marty Kistler on the edge of the mat.
And he's been warned for stalling also, so he's got to be able to press the advantage right here.
We have only 21 seconds to go. Now Kistler is where he wants to be. That's what he wants.
Well, he's got to be able to stay down toward the foot. Don't get up where the hips can hurt him. VanArsdale's got to hit the move right here. He's got an opportunity. Can't wait for him. Got to throw that thing.
And Kistler wins. Did he get him 2? No. No riding time. It's a 1-point match. Kistler 2, VanArsdale 1. But if you're an Iowa State coach, you say, I can beat him at the Nationals, huh?
That's right. The Hawks are wrestling tired in this match.
Yeah, it is true. All right, 3 points now for Iowa.